If you made a perfect clone of yourself, it would be you, right? The clone might have your DNA, your memories, and even your personality, yet it would still wake up as a separate individual, surely. The problem isn't whether the copy is identical. The problem is why your awareness is here rather than there. So, if a perfect copy of you existed tomorrow, why wouldn't you suddenly find yourself looking through its eyes? Physics, Consciousness and Reality, Dickie Dredd and Nigel Adams. This is part 23 in the video series, chapter 3, still Consciousness at the Frontier. Section 20, Cloning. Would a copy share the same consciousness? Sure, it's difficult for me to read that with the background colours. Cloning has been around in science fiction for decades. Endless copies of people, armies of duplicates, the horror of meeting yourself in the flesh. In real biology, cloning isn't fiction anymore. Dolly the sheep was born in 1990s through nuclear transfer, and since then folk have cloned all sorts of animals. Humans, at least officially, are off the table, but the question still hangs. If you cloned me, would it be me? Would it have my consciousness? On the surface, the answer looks straightforward. A clone is genetically identical, but it's not the same individual. Identical twins are essentially natural clones, but no one thinks they share one mind. They have separate consciousnesses, their own perspectives. A human clone would probably be the same. A new person, a new stream of awareness, even if the DNA is the same. But the question digs deeper when we tie it back to the bigger themes. What actually is consciousness? If it's an emergent property of a particular arrangement of matter, neurons firing in a certain way, then cloning your body and brain might produce a very similar consciousness, but it wouldn't be continuous with yours. It would be like booting up a second computer with the same hardware and software. The clone would wake up and say, "I am me," but it wouldn't be the same I as you. From your perspective, you'd still be stuck in your own head. Some thought experiments make this uncomfortable. Imagine a perfect scan of your brain, recreated molecule by molecule. Would the resulting person be you, or just a copy that thinks it's you? If you stepped into a teleporter that destroyed your body and rebuilt it elsewhere, would you arrive, or would you die, replaced by a copy? These scenarios show how slippery the idea of self really is. From another angle, if consciousness is fundamental, not emergent, but the ground of reality, then the picture changes. In that case, the clone wouldn't have a separate consciousness, because consciousness itself isn't divided by bodies. It would be another window, another perspective, another icon through which universal awareness looks out. In that view, both you and your clone would feel like separate selves, but underneath, both are currents in the same ocean of consciousness. So does a clone have the same consciousness? From an everyday perspective, no, it would be a different person, with its own mind, its own experiences, its own I. But from the deeper perspective, yes, because there's only ever one consciousness, showing up in countless forms. Cloning doesn't give us the answer, but it sharpens the question. Are we machines running a unique program, or are we expressions of something universal, just playing different roles? Either way, meeting your clone will be the strangest mirror you could ever look into. A perfect copy may reproduce everything we can observe about a person while leaving the deepest questions unanswered. Consciousness may be something more than information, memory, or physical structure alone. Which means the problem isn't just whether you can create another version of ourselves, it might be why experience belongs to one perspective at all. And if that's the case, what is it that makes this conscious viewpoint yours and not somebody else's? Next up, still in chapter 3, Consciousness at the Frontier, and we're on to part 21, Digital Immortality, uploading the mind.